So in order to fix the brakes on these Porsches, you need to turn off the suspension system. And the way you do it is that you bring the right leveler all the way up and leave it there until you have a message. Regulation switched off. Now we are able to work on the brakes safely. What it is their air suspension, and if you don't turn it off, the suspension is gonna think that it's going off level. It's gonna inflate the suspension, and that can create a damage on the shocks, because they're air shocks. Now, so obviously we're gonna remove the tires, and we're gonna put it on jacks and all of that. Okay, guys. So I'll come back whenever I have done all this stuff. So now that we have the tire off, I properly secure the vehicle with a tower. I never like to work only with jacks, but I do have the jack just as a double security. As you can see, it's all dusted. But what we have to do is just to remove this 13 millimeter bolt and push this pin out to be able to work on the pads. You don't have to remove the caliper itself. Okay. As you can see, this pin right here is thicker than in here. So at the moment we push the pin out, we have to make sure we don't damage the metal springs or the hardware. So we have to put like 2 screwdrivers underneath, so that way we can bring all the pin out safely without damaging the hardware. Okay. To remove the sensors, and by the way, mine as well, if you're gonna replace the pads, it's a good habit to replace the sensors. If the sensors are already telling you that you need a brake replacement, the sensors there probably are already eaten up. They're not very expensive. Now, another thing that you gotta look is the size of the caliper, and it's color code. Well, that's why I say it. But the blacks is black, silver, and reds. In my case, is the reds, and I'm gonna post right here the different sizes of for each color, so that way you can make sure you get the correct calipers. But as a second measurement before I remove everything, I just want to make sure that I'm having the correct size in here. Okay. And it seems like if I have the correct size, you know, if I put it right on the side, they look very much the same. Okay, so let's continue with it. Okay, guys, so we're gonna use a 13 millimeter socket. Okay. What I like to do in here, instead of just pulling pressure, I like to give a couple of bangs, and this thing will come out real easy. Okay. Now what I want to do next, I want to lubricate those, because there's a lot of dust and that's gonna make it kind of hard to come out. All right, but I'm gonna lubricate it and okay, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lube right there and in here. Okay. So with the bolt being in there, I'm gonna bend it. See how it's moving? Okay. Now before I continue doing that, I'm gonna remove the sensor out of here. The sensor, I mean, don't be afraid to turn them up. You already got some new ones. Yeah. So I'm just gonna get it out of here. And also another thing you gotta make sure is whenever you put it back, make sure you put the hardware the way it's supposed to be. You know, like this on this case. This is holding the sensor underneath, so you gotta make sure you put it underneath. All right. And just take it out. Okay. All right. All right. So as you can see, this thing move. Now, I want you to check in here. This is the part that I'm telling you. So, using a screwdriver like that and push it. We're gonna have to use 2 screwdrivers, so I'm bringing another one. Okay. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. I'll get one side and the other one. Okay. Now that I got it inside, I'm gonna push it, and it already passed the metal thing, so I didn't damage it. I hope you see what I was talking about. And now we can continue and removing the pin out. You can use a screwdriver or a center punch to keep removing the pin. As you can see, it's coming out. And I pretty much brought it up with my own hands. Okay, so we got this out. Let's remove the spring or the hardware, which we're gonna put it aside, and I'm gonna just keep going. Now we gotta clean this up really good, so that way it can go back in nicely. Okay. If you have a wire brush, that will be great. I don't have one in hand, but I brought me these sandpaper, in which I'm gonna clean it really good before I put it on it. Okay, so now right now it's a good time to clean all this stuff too. Now we have to separate the brake pads in here while they're on here. Why? Because we're gonna put some new ones, and we gotta make space for it. So by priming it, you can prime it. Don't touch the rotor. I'm doing it right here on the old brake pads. And as you can see, I'm separating it and it's working really, really good. Okay. What I did is I just separated the pistons so that way I can give space to the new pads, and they were almost right there to damage the rotor, but just got it on time. And I want you to see how the sensor is all eat up. That's why I'm telling you to change. This is where the sensor goes. It's already eat up right there, so it's time to change them. You got to change them anyway. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna pour a little bit of a brake cleaner or something in here, so that way I can clean it. Okay. In order to remove the sensor, we have to lift this cap off for the brake purge. Okay, and that's the same way it's gonna go. It's gonna go through there, and on the connection itself, well, all you have to do is lift it in here and push it out, just like that. That's all you have to do. You don't have to remove this, don't have to mess around. If you need to, you turn it and pull it out, but you don't have to. The sensor is out and the brake pads are out. Okay, like I say, I'm gonna clean this pin really good, so that way I don't have any troubles putting it back in. Putting it back in right here, and I'm gonna try to clean a little bit better. We'll take off the dust in here, and I'm gonna put the brake pads on. Okay, I'll come back to you. Okay guys, I had to go and change the brake pads because they were not the same, so I had to go locally. I want you to take a look at these 3 spots. That's where you need to put the high temperature lube. And you know, before continuing, just gotta make sure this thing fits, and it does fit pretty good. All right, so we're gonna continue. I'm gonna clean the pin, like I said, like I mentioned it, and I'll come back to you. Now this kit came with brand new the hardware, so I'm gonna put it on. So I'm gonna loop the 3 points here, here, and also here. Spread them out, and also we're gonna loop right here. That's where it sits. That avoids any squealing. Once we have lubed that, we're gonna put the pads back on. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. And lube. And also gonna lube in here. And we're gonna put the brake pad. Okay. Now that we have put the brake pad on, we're gonna grab the spring. Remember that this little thing goes facing down because of the the sensor. It holds it right there. So all we have to do is push this thing and put the pin back on, and we're ready to rock and roll. Okay. I'm gonna put the pin. Probably gonna have to push it with to make more force. I'm gonna have to push it with one of these just so the pin goes through. See that? I'm gonna push it a little bit more. You have to make sure it fits in the slot. I'm gonna move it so that way it can fit on the slot. The spring is on it. I'm gonna put a little lube on the bolt. I always like to lube them. I'm gonna put the bolt. This is where the bolt goes. And we got it in, guys. The brake pads are in. It's that easy. Really, it's that easy. So all we have to do is complete the task to put the sensors and on the sensors it tells you right here front, right, front, right, front, and okay, it's time to put the sensors. Sorry about the movement. Alright, you push it in until they click. Same on the other side. Okay, it clicked. It's a very, very tight space and ways they need to go. This cap holds it in place too. And we have to make the connection. We have to make the connection right here. Until it clicks. And guys, we had just completed a brake pad installation. It's real easy, guys. You don't have to pay $400 or $500, $700, maybe $1,000 on the Porsche just to do this. It actually, if you have all the tools, it only takes about an hour. And we're all done, guys. The rotors, they're still in good shape. Brand new calipers, brand new sensors. Like this video, I hope it helps you out for your project, and I'll see you in one of my other videos, okay?